Alright, making a video. Yeah, sort of this, I don't know, crap about crap. You know, not really drama, just crap going on YouTube. It's all so crappy. Everybody is so crappy. You know, just, there's nobody to like here. Just this whole YouTube thing too, I guess, what the YouTube audience is really made out of, you know, most of it. What the human race is mostly made out of, you know, assholes, are boring people, are drones, are, you know, yeah, idiots. Idiots of different variety, I suppose. But anyway, I mean, obviously this YouTube thing is, you know, kind of runs on the 12-year-olds, I guess. And, you know, Paul's ego has sort of made that point in a way. He says he feels like he's 13, you know, because they were harassing the Sotomayor guy, whatever his name, Tommy, whatever. And they even called his hotel room. I mean, it's just so, you know, it's such a tacky, rude kind of thing to do, you know, get in people's personal life that kind of way. It's kind of really stretching the boundaries a bit. And I mean, the funny thing is they're talking to Brett Keane here, and, you know, just kind of mocking him for being a lying scum, which everybody knows. And even funnier though is they're trying to bribe him into just fessing up, you know, just doing a video. Look, we'll promote your channel, we'll do all this stuff. They've already promoted him about as much as you could ever promote somebody, right? I mean, they've made whole shows focused around him. They've created a whole manatee character. It's a whole thing, huge thing. And what did Brett get out of it? You know, he didn't get anything but mocked by a whole bunch of 12-year-olds, right? I mean, he didn't get any real subscribers out of it or anything, or anybody gives a shit except to keep up with the drama, if there is any, the current drama maybe. But that's about all the value here. There's no meaningful value. I mean, no audience bleed over. It's not like these guys. These guys think they're like CNN or something, and, and you know, we're going to do a commercial on CNN for you, and you'll get like people might have a brain or something. There's nobody watching this drunken peasant stuff. I mean, regularly. They could possibly have, you know, much interest in anything meaningful. Because it's pretty bad. I mean, it's just, you know, it's all just drugs and rock and roll and 14-year-old humor. 13-year-old, I don't know, whatever. It's, you know, it's not exactly clever, intensely clever, incredibly clever. No. But yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, I thought Paul's ego was a little bit more of a person than to, you know, to actually see him, you know, put on one of his false voices and, you know, lie to a person doing their job at work, and, you know, to make a crank call, and that's all it is, crank calling. It's just, you know, what the fuck? It's just so bizarre. Because, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, the world's just made out of people capable of just lying so easily and being a fake. And, you know, that always seemed to be, I used to make, in the old days, you can find videos of mine about Brett Keane back when, before everybody else hated Brett Keane, I hated Brett Keane. Because I hated this whole bullshit of, you know, he used to make these stupid crank calls, you know, to just some church somewhere, and he would play this game, like, I'm going to set you up to look stupid. And it was just such a, you know, it's such a cheat. It's so dishonest, and just the fact that he could pull off the dishonesty of it, just get into a whole this whole insincere conversation thing, and I just found that so obnoxious. Because for me personally, it's just never been something. Maybe it's just because I never had any talent at lying. I mean, I was the worst liar in the history of liars, I guess. Because yes, I just, you know. You'll see it when when I start lying. You'll know I'm lying because it's just that obvious. I mean, I can't do it very well. Let me put it that way. And I certainly couldn't do it in any I couldn't do any elaborate lying, like a whole, I might embellish a story or something, add a few, yeah, my dick's a little bigger than I said, or it's a little smaller than I said, or some kind of crap like that. But no, I just can't, it's just not. And it's just what's so ugly about the world is the fact that everybody's so willing to do this, and everybody's so, they call you on the phone and say, how are you? And they don't care. How you doing today? They don't really want to know. It's also insincere. I hate it. And so that was disappointing, just to see Paul just float right into that. Like, that's good game. And this is right after they complained about Brett Keane docking them to some lunatic of some kind. But then I said to myself, you docked yourself when you invited fake Sagan to live with you. For fuck's sake, the guy's making videos about his guns. He was obsessed with guns. And he said, yeah, come on down. Yeah, we love gun people who do drug videos too. So fake Sagan was also doing drug videos and playing with his gun. So, frankly, you really can't complain. Not it's a legitimate complaint. I'm not saying anybody should be doing all this backdoor, backstabbing crap. Again, all these people do all this shit. You find out this crap, and it's just disappointing. It's like that with the edible napalm. I thought he was kind of a social justice warrior type. Somebody who was in it for realsies. But he's just, he's done some shit in the past that was just foul. This sabotaging of people, and this is what the internet runs on, and it's a Comedy Central or something, kind of mentality. I mean, it's just not, without South Park, what is Comedy Central, but just for retards. Well, I don't know what it is now. I haven't seen it for 10 years. But yuck. So, yeah, just the world's getting really, even the commercials, they have this poo-pourri or something that's being advertised now, and they do, 2-minute commercials about, making the smell of your poo go away, and it's really tacky. Yeah. It's just like, oh, man. Yeah. So, anyway, so that's my complaint part. So anyway, Tommy, I watched this Tommy was going to be on, and kind of the way this thing is formatted. I mean, these guys are so used to jabbering between each other that they really don't let somebody else on the outside get in unless they're sort of invited to say something. So it is a little bit of an awkward conversation, unless they're engaged with whoever the guest player is. They just get kind of lost, and so it's kind of Tommy's there, but he's not really there. So what else? Is there anything else I wanted to complain about? There's just so much of it. I mean, and then Paul was, they have a little dog, and they're, mutzing over the dog, and these are the same people who just, they just mock this idea of somebody saying, well, how do you, as supposed to be some kind of atheist, I mean, how do you rationalize your affections? And because they were talking a little bit about Brett calling into the atheist program, and then they were starting to argue some of the arguments about how do you prove atheism. And for the first argument is, I don't have to prove atheism, I just have to prove that there's no evidence of anything called a God. But I think you can certainly prove atheism by saying the lack of evidence is evidence that there's no God. That's how there would be evidence. It's like I'm saying, if somebody says there's another element, there's no reason for me to believe there's another element until they show some kind of evidence of the new element. And the proof is, well, it would be found if it existed, kind of a thing. If you say something bold, you can sort of dissect the fact that it would have to leave footprints. It would, if it existed, like a Sasquatch or something, you can make these rational arguments that, well, where's its poo? There should be poo in the soil. There should be evidence of its genetic code being spread all over the place. and it's not there. So anyway, it's a side subject a little bit. So there is proof that there's no dragons, for example. Because we know if there was dragons, we'd find their eggs somewhere or their scales somewhere. There'd be some kind of evidence, that they're roaming about. Anyway, so what was I going to get to? Yeah, so these are logical arguments they're using about how the world is shaped, and yet those logical arguments don't mean anything when it has to do with inconveniencing them. So if they have to, oh wait, you mean I have to consider the fact that when I pet this little dog and think it's so cute and hug it and all this kind of crap, and would feel bad if the dog was feeling bad or was being hurt, if somebody was pulling it by its ears and tormenting and harassing it, that they might get upset. And they're not smart enough? Is that what they're going to argue? Like a Brett Keane or something? I don't remember, they're going to say, or something. It was happened a long time ago. I can't figure it out. You see, what's their excuse? They don't have any excuse, except they're duplicitous, grotesquely duplicitous, just completely dishonest. They don't give a fuck about science or the facts when science and the facts points to something they don't want to hear. And just makes them all more deplorable. Just deplorable. Yeah, see, the word does come up now. But yeah, they're just ragged pieces of shit as human beings, because they don't care about anything either. They want somebody else to be honest. Why? You assholes are dishonest. Why are you? Why do you think there's something like integrity matters or something? What, are you kidding me? Like, you give a fuck? So yeah, it's just annoying. Really annoying. So it's almost like I want to, in some way, out that, contest this manipulation, because they're just as bad as the Jesus freaks or anything else. They're selling nihilism, they're selling laziness, they're selling a fucking, just a completely self-obsessed, divorce your wife, they were arguing about how old Paul's wife's was, like my girlfriend is, and it's like there's, like, it really matters. I mean, realistically, you're 36 and she's 23. Like, there isn't something a little bit groupie built into that. But whatever. Who cares? I mean, it's not. I don't care. But anyway, like you can't take that light a joke, and the jokes they make are just so cheap, and yet they're gonna be insulted that somebody else would imply something that, yes, everybody would know that it's not true. So obviously he wouldn't make public videos if he was fucking a 14-year-old, that kind of thing. So it's not like this is a mystery, but they feel all big about themselves because, hey, look, we're dispelling this lie that no one believed, when really it's just a shot. And so when somebody else shoots, they think they're telling the truth, and when they shoot, nah, I was just joking. I was just making a joke. Well, the hypocrisy is just, ugh. So anyway, beyond that, then you have this whole, so all these interrelationships are just so bizarre, because, Tommy tries to be friends with everybody and tries to, keep himself networked. But it's impossible to follow these associations. And so anyway, I actually came up, and these deplorable creatures here, these deplorable motherfuckers, sat there and said, I said something disgusting. I think that's the word they used. And it just amazed me, because I'm like, these guys think it's disgusting to make the obvious joke when a Christian is raising money so his 16-year-old daughter can have a fuck pouch? And I'm disgusting? And clearly in the circumstance where if anybody even gave it a little tiny bit of thought, they would realize Jesus freak isn't poor, for fuck's sake. This has nothing to do with this girl. She's not homeless. She's not like a single 16-year-old whose parents died and she doesn't have any the wherewithal to get her fuck pouch. No, she has 2 living parents, 2 families with incomes. And They just didn't want to pay for it. And they don't think that this is fucking funny? Holy shit. I'm disgusting? Because I brought it up and I used the term fuck pouch, which is completely accurate. So, I mean, these people are just such fucking hypocrites. I mean, damn. They'll do these disgusting racial jokes. They do all this bullshit, this fucking rag talk. And they'll sit there and say that, oh, it's almost too disgusting to talk about. And the funny thing, even funnier was, they all censored themselves. Because that's the way Jesus Freak wants it. Jesus Freak wants it so everybody censors themselves. No one can talk about it. Who were they talking to? Was it Tommy? Nah, it couldn't have been Tommy. Maybe it was. But somebody said, they were sitting there talking. I thought there was somebody else maybe that was popped in for a minute. And it's like, no, I can't talk about that because, Jesus Freak. I can't talk about Jesus Freak. And so the drunken peasants are respecting Jesus Freak's request not to talk about the sensitive subject of his scam to rip off a bunch of poor people for money. So he doesn't have to sell any of his shit. So he can remain a nice, comfortable, middle-class guy. He took money from fucking poor people. Anyway. Hypocrites. Just fucking hypocrites. Pukey hypocrites. Oh, man. You people are so cucky. And you're like fucking magic snowflakes. Ooh, he said fuck pouch. Ooh. Let's all run and hide. When all of these guys have probably gotten one. Because, realistically, they got nothing else to live for. I just mean physically, naturally. They have to, that's why they're taking drugs all day, right? I mean, realistically, see, even there, isn't taking drugs all day and bragging about it just the definition of a loser? Realistically, I'm just saying the people who did drugs for real, they didn't walk around saying, hey, I do drugs all night. They don't brag about it. This is, but this is just like that. This is like 13 or 14-year-olds. Yeah, when you're 13 and 14, you're always talking, oh yeah, I was so wasted last night. I was so wasted. That you're doing that shit. But once you grow up, yeah, you still get wasted, but you don't walk around talking about how wasted you got. It's just, it's lame. Because most of the time, if you're really getting wasted, it's because your life sucks. It's not because you have a great life. People with a great life don't get wasted. Because they have a great life. They don't need to get wasted, okay? It's just kind of obvious, right? If you're not tense and depressed, marijuana is not going to do you that much good. Anyway. It's always most of the time that one's a good trip. But they're even talking about doing mushrooms while they're watching an election. I can't even imagine doing a psychedelic while I'm watching an election or having a conversation with more than even just a half a person. How I could even follow anything that had that many moving parts. Like, there's election stuff plus what the other people are saying. I'm not even going to know what somebody said till 10 minutes after they fucking said it. So I don't even get that. But well, anyway, I don't get much about people no more. Alright, so then we get to Fake Sagan. So he made this song that's really good. It's in a 10-minute video. There's only bad parts, so I'm going to cut it out of the video, and I'm going to play with it a little. It's really good. It's really good. And I can only say that shit. I'm impressed because it's good. It's a pretty good song. It's a lot better than seeing. When I first heard he was making a song, right? He's making a video, and I'm saying, oh, he's fucking did some shit. Fake Sagan did some shit. So I was like, oh yeah, I can write a song too. So I made a song that was basically Fake Sagan, you're such a fucking cunt. You know, and then there's other verses that all end in cunt. But yeah, it turns out he's not a cunt. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. He likes me. Whether he likes to or not, he's just stuck with it that, you know, I somehow am not totally repulsive as a whatever this is, as a human who oozes this crap into a what's called a personality. It doesn't. Yeah, I hate that. But then he says stupid shit, like he talks about, he's sitting there talking about other people's videos or what they said when he doesn't watch their videos, and that's just such a lame thing to do. You know, that's the Piro thing. You know, I'll watch 2 minutes of a video and then I think I'll have a conversation about what took place, and he'll never catch up because he'll watch what he wants to watch, and he'll think he's now qualified, and he's not qualified. Because you don't have to watch everything. You have to, but you do have to make sure you go to get enough of information where you're not just talking out of your ass. I mean, shit. You know, fuck. So I thought that was kind of lame. That he's, you know. But everything Fake Sagan's done is just lame, right? I'm leaving YouTube. No, I'm not leaving YouTube. Okay. So, you know, he kind of, so yeah, so he gave me a song, but then he kind of just took it back by, now I can't say I drove Fake Sagan off the internet, you know, so I lose my claim to fame, you know, as a warrior, because, yeah, the Barbarians only left to go to McDonald's, and then they came back again, and I'm like looking pretty stupid because I said, hey, look, I drove them away. And no, they were only going to McDonald's, and now they're coming back again, and so, you know, everybody's going to be pissed off, like, what the fuck? You're not very good at smiting the enemy if they're back, you know. No point in killing, you know, the zombie if you didn't really kill the zombie, and the zombie just turned into a double zombie. And that's sort of what Fake Sagan now is. Now he's even more dangerous, because now you can't trust anything he says, and he admits it. I'll change my mind every 35 seconds is basically all he's saying. So don't trust a motherfucking thing I say. Don't try to interpret anything I say. Don't try to think about what I said, because by the time you thought about it and you thought something about it, I'm going to change into something else, and now I'm just going to force you to erase all that crap. So it's just all kind of, oh, I don't really want to do that, you know. That doesn't sound like much fun. Bouncing, you know, personalities. I don't want to. I got no time for that, I don't think. But as with Fake Sagan, I have the same kind of liability, is that I really don't like Fake Sagan very much. But I do like the way he talks. Billions and billions, and it's all very constructed, and his stories are all, and it's rather articulate, and he ties it all together in some kind of, even though it's complete shit, he does sort of make it into something. It's really quite a, you know, he's gluing legs on a fish, and it somehow is able to walk, and you're just, well, it's a walking fish, he did it. You know, he made an animal and such. I'm just saying he actually pulls it off in a sense, but it's complete bullshit. Yeah, so you have to admire that, right? Yeah, fuck. So anyway, you know, and then Paul's ego was talking about the Ponage by Captain Awesome. I hate when people, I mean, yes, okay, he had his, it was a perfect moment of ponage, in the sense that, yes, I fucked your bitch is like, you know, that's a perfect one moment. But when you see the real context of it, it was such a perfect failure, right? I mean, he had more subscribers than TJ back then. I mean, he just blew himself to pieces. And the lamest thing was, you know, he did this outing by, you know, posting the naked pictures of the girl and no picture of his own dick doing the deed, right? So he just totally pussied out in such, you know, in a major way. Like, here, I'm going to show her, okay? And, you know, he's getting to Fake Sagan. He's not supposed to be hurting her. He's supposed to be hurting Fake Sagan. And that was super lame. And then the idea that you're going to do this hey, look at our porn tape, and it doesn't have your own dick in it. I mean, that's like cucky, right? Or snowflakey, or you know, crooked small dick much, or something like that. I mean, come on. You know, especially when you have a personality like Captain Awesome, like he's, like he's embarrassed or, afraid. So that's just, I mean, that, to me anyway, yes, that broke the, yeah, he owned for a few seconds and then he just, threw it away. It could have been more perfect. Could have been a lot better, let's say it that way. More perfect is, like I said, it wasn't perfect because it didn't have any durability. But I guess I have to concede the point. For the moment, it was perfect. But it didn't have any staying power, if you know what I mean. Hard and massive, but if it only lasts 10 seconds, totally useless. Alright, so is there anything... I just find it all so strange. I feel all these interrelationships between these people, and the whole fact that Jesus Freak is now censoring everyone, and he's getting away with it. It's just amazing. Everybody just, no, we can't talk about it because Jesus Freak says we can't talk about it. It's a sensitive subject, him ripping off poor people. It's just too strange. Way too strange. Alright, so I think that's it. But, yeah, just a weird medium, this. And, quite, foreign. I just don't... Well, I just won't. So it's obvious, there's such a... It's such an imbecility of the medium in a sense, or of media in general, that you really have to do this thing. You have to put on some kind of stupid suit. You have to put on like boring conservative suit, or I'm a bleeding heart lover of humanity suit, or I'm a 13-year-old shit talking nihilist. I don't care. You can't hurt me. Ha ha ha, funny person suit, or whatever suit this is, or and there's no choice. You have to commit to a suit. You can't just not wear a suit, it seems, because it seems everybody has willfully pigeonholed themselves with their own inability to absorb more than one kind of media. It's like they have a favorite kind of music and that's it. I mean, it really is almost that bad. It's like, I've seen people like that though. You get in there. I used to park cars, and you'd really get it because people would have back then cassette tapes. And you'd get in one car and it's all opera. You get another car, it's all classical. You get another car, it's all rock and roll, blah, blah. It's all one person or something like that. It was kind of funny that way. And I guess I'd say I was almost the same way in the sense that, yeah, you have a certain niche that you like, and, it does it for you. It's like a favorite drug or something. It's just favorite kind of booze. Just the way we are, I suppose. But yeah, just kind of makes it. I think it means that just the human race is really going to be in trouble because everybody has to become more of a Renaissance man. Everybody has to really want to be fully engaged in the real world. That is, they have a certain amount of commitment to all these different disciplines. That they have talent in understanding the world they live in, and understanding their adversaries, and understanding the systems they're involved in, and they're not just doing the wanking thing. They're not just sitting there watching cartoons. And just doesn't seem like there's too many people who have much ambition to do that, says I. So anyway, I think that's probably enough. But it was all quite bizarre. So the Amazing Atheist interview with Brett Keane ought to be somewhat interesting. I don't know. They've probably written some jokes for him. He might pull it off. Frankly, he was never good at one-on-one with people, from my perspective. Yeah, I remember he did some kind of interview with, I mean, he met SpongeBob, or what his name was, Hat Bob, Bald Bob, some kind of Bob guy. And it was just terrible. You know, these two guys were supposed to dislike each other, zombie movie kind of guy. I don't know what exactly he did. Some guy, Fake Sagan, was on his dislike list, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember his name. But anyway, but that was like one of those moments where you first realize that, wow, TJ sucks. You know, interacting with people. You know, and I seem to be pretty good at it, which is kind of funny, because yeah, I can do this solo thing relatively well. But I can also talk to somebody, and I'm not that much different, which is good on me, I suppose. Maybe it's not that much of a talent, though, realistically. Yeah, never mind. I mean, it really shouldn't be that. If you can talk to yourself, you should be able to talk to people. Well, I say you should. What if I'm wrong? Alright, it doesn't matter if I'm wrong. On this one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think that's all there is to say. It really is strange stuff. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see. It's like this whole. Yeah, it's like this is the weirdest fucking time. I mean, you know, just the whole Trump thing. I mean, you know, it's just been such a, because you know, I've ruined relationships with people over this whole Trump thing. I mean, I had quit jobs, did all kinds of, you know, it's just, this isn't acceptable. Really strange fucking times. But anyway, and then the internet goes all wacky. It's like all fucking wiggly lines and shit. It's like nothing's straight. Everything's crooked. So anyway, it's not for you. So I'll probably do another video after the TJ thing if there's something interesting in that whole Brett Keane mess. But otherwise, it might all be quite ignorable. And yeah, that's probably enough. But yeah, you know, eventually I'll post the Fake Sagan song, and I'll link below to the 10-minute video on his new channel, and such, and so forth and whatnot.